G'day guys, today the Cruiser is getting a bit of an upgrade in the brake department. You probably don't think about it too much because you buy it, you put your foot on it and it stops and it's all good. If you've ever had the opportunity to jump in a car with upgraded brake system, you'll know straight away the very first time you put your foot on the pedal, the difference that it makes. The real difference though comes in under heavy braking, prolonged downhill descents, you know, or in emergencies or that type of thing. You got a few components. You got your discs, your pads, your calipers, your lines, your brake booster, your master cylinders. Now, all of those things are applying pressure and generating heat. So what we're going to do today is we're going to increase the brake pressure by fitting a Terrain Tamer brake booster, which gives 30% more pressure. Then we're going to replace the standard brake lines with their braided brake hose. Now the reason we do that is because as you apply pressure, the rubber hoses expand and then you lose brake pressure. So by fitting braided lines, which are a rubber hose inside and then a stainless steel braid and a coating, that basically stops the hose expanding, and the feedback you get through the brake pedal will be much more responsive. You'll put your foot on and you'll feel it quicker. I know this, especially on bikes. When I was years ago racing bikes, the first thing we'd do is replace the brake hoses and our master cylinder, so we didn't have that sponginess in the brakes. They were hard on and we could hold the brakes on longer and stop quicker. So that's what we're doing that. Then we're going to chuck on there Fortified pads. Well, let's be honest, every brake pad box you pick up has got some kind of special compound in it, but definitely you get different qualities of pads, okay? Now these Fortified pads, I know these guys have spent a lot of time testing them and they're claiming that they will work under really high temperatures. So if you've ever smelt your brakes cooking, you'll notice that when that starts to happen, you start to lose your braking. What's the word I'm trying to say there? You start to feel brake fade and your brakes aren't working as good because the pads are getting so hot, they're losing grip essentially on the disc. So we're going to put these Fortified pads on, which should give us the extra stopping power and withstand the heat that we're going to put through them. Now you can go ahead and do brake discs, and you can do calipers as well as part of a brake package. But in my opinion, if you're going to do that, then really you want to be chucking on braided brake lines, you want to be putting on good pads, and if you want to get the most out of your braking ability, then you want to upgrade that brake booster to give you more pressure. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down, we're going to fill this thing up because we want to replicate the test. We're going to find ourselves a stretch of dirt and a stretch of bitumen. We're going to do some brake testing, measure some distances, and we're also going to make sure that our tyre pressures are set. That way when we come back and replicate it, with a full tank, same tyre pressures, just with the upgraded components, and we'll see how much improvement we get. Let's go. All right, so we filled up with fuel. We're just getting all the tyres at a level that we know, so when we do the next test, they're the same. All right, tyres are done, fuel's done. We found a nice quiet stretch of road. It's dead flat, it's good bitumen for the first test. So first thing, we're going to do the first brake test. We've warmed the brakes up to 80 k's an hour. Then we're going to get out and measure that. Then we'll measure the distances of each one. Here we go. So we've done about 7 runs.
Yep.
We left the first couple to really warm up because we noticed the brakes warmed up, tyres warmed up a bit more. And then we've run another 4, 5. We've run another 5.
We'll do an average of them. And so you're sitting around the 29, 30 metre mark.
Average.
At the average, yeah.
All right.
Which is pretty good for a bitumen road and a truck.
Yeah.
We'll go and see what the dirt does. It'll be a big difference.
All right, now it's time for the dirt run. Now I have to say, I don't have ABS in this car, so this is purely 100% up to me as far as the braking goes, but we'll see how we go and we'll get the averages and go from there. Same test, 80 clicks, a marker, being this reflector here, and go.
That's a bit early then.
Are you looking at the left post or the right post?
Oh, I was looking at the left post.
Yeah, I was looking at the right one. The right one's a bit closer.
All right, that's
good. All right, well, we'll get our average. We've done 5, 6, 7 runs again. We think average is probably about 30 for the bitumen, 30 metres.
Yeah.
And then our average for the dirt is going to be around 40 metres, so it's about a 30% difference.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
30.48. Now, I know some people are going to say this isn't a proper test, but for the sake of seeing a difference, it's going to do the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want to run your own test, I suppose you can go and do that. Is this sort of similar to what you've got in the past?
Certainly the dirt was always around 40 metres before you started doing brake improvements.
Well, they're 40.3. We should be able to see a pretty good improvement with that. They're pretty good. I feel good about that. I got pretty close.
Yeah.
Doing a manual thing because it is a bit rudimentary, but they're all fairly close for averages.
Yeah. No, that's good. 40 metres. So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll get 2 or 3 metres improvement.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound much, but it's sort of better than 5%, and it's 2 or 3 metres can be the difference between life and death, or hitting the pedestrian, or hitting the kangaroo, or not.
But I think we should notice as soon as I pull out the driveway and put my foot on the pedal.
Yeah.
I should notice the extra brake pressure, so the braking should come on earlier. Yeah. And I shouldn't have to put it down as far. And then I think really you're going to notice it on those big sort of downhill ascents, descents when you're towing and that sort of thing. Oh well, we'll get it fitted and we'll see what this does.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, cool. Right, we're back here at Terrain Tamer, picking up the cruiser. There's Elliot there, he spent buddy all week on it. The Fossil there's giving us a lift. So, the Guru, Alan there too, they've all been involved getting the cruiser ready. So we're testing a few things. One thing I'm super excited about is we've got the new double diaphragm brake booster, braided lines and the fancy pads. Which is going to go good in the brake test. And then here we've got a new seat. What do you reckon of the seat, Foss? How's that look?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. So,
well, they're Aussie made.
Yep.
Let's have a look at it. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Let's go give it a run, eh? So we've got our brake booster fitted. There we go. Braided lines and fancy pads. Braided lines. We're going to give it a run. Let's see how they go. Pretty hard to argue with that. There's absolutely no doubt that it brakes way harder. Last time for starters I couldn't get the wheels to skid. This time if I keep pushing my foot down, the wheels just lock up completely, which actually lengthens your brake distance, makes it worse. But we were still better than before, even with a couple of skids, but the ones where we were able to brake controlled without skidding, I mean, just smashed the average. Okay, so just so you know, after we picked the car up, just before we came here, we went and filled up again, because that's what we did last time. And we've checked the pressures, so we're running the same pressures, the same weight, the same road, it's even very similar weather conditions and wind as before as well. So it's about as close to a lab test as you can get for a bush test.
Yeah.
We're looking at a region of 15 or more percent improvement, which is massive. The guru's just getting his abacus out to work this out. So we did, the brakes weren't bad before, were they?
No,
Correct.
and the average, I've just worked out the dirt figure. The average on dirt was 40.3 before. That's what I would have expected, yeah.
In your past tests, you kind of get that sort of figures.
About the 40 metre mark. And then with the improved booster, pads and brake lines, it's 33.8. So that's, wow, that's 6.5 metres difference. I mean, I expected an improvement. I would have been happy with 2. 3 metres would have been really good, but 6, wow, that is unbelievable.
We're kind of going to be happy with a 5 or a 10% improvement.
Yeah. Well, that's 6.5 metres improvement on the average on dirt.
Which is massive.
Yeah.
That's a double-storey house. And the bitumen?
Let me work out the bitumen. On bitumen beforehand was 30.2. And it's exactly 24 metres. The average now is 24 metres, which once again is a 6 metre improvement.
And just a touch over 20%.
Yeah, yeah.
Massive, massive.
Yeah, yeah. That's unreal. That is unreal. Like I said, I would have been happy with 2 or 3 metres, but 6 metres, I wouldn't have thought you would have got that in your wildest dreams. So that's pretty phenomenal, isn't it?
It's good.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's absolutely no doubt that investing the money into that brake booster, the dual diaphragm, extra 30% braking pressure, whatever it is, plus the braided lines and the pads, made a massive, massive difference. There's no doubt about it. And for the money, I don't know if you would get that sort of improvement for the same amount of money. It's a very, very well-priced brake upgrade, that. I think the brake booster is $770 plus the braided lines and some pads. So we're not talking cheap stations for a 20% improvement in brakes. Unbelievable. So there you go. Good.